Big news about an investigation I've been following for years. A Georgia man who has spent 25 years in prison will get a second chance after a judge ordered him a new trial. I'm Atlanta News First investigative reporter Andy Perotti.
And I'm Anastasia Olmos. This is Behind the Investigation with Atlanta News First. This has been several years of investigating one man's case of shaken baby. He originally was convicted of killing his child by shaking it, but this was in 2003. Right. So fast forward, it is 2026. And what's taking place?
So his name is Daniel Smith. He has been in prison, in a Georgia prison, for killing his 2-month-old son, Chandler, allegedly shaking him to death. During this entire time, he has maintained his innocence. Well, about 10 years ago, he met a woman, and this woman heard his story, ended up becoming now his fiancée, and took this to a local organization and attorneys, the Southern Center for Human Rights, and said, we think we have a case here. I think my fiance is innocent. And here we are 10 years later, and he has a new trial.
Just got the news that they have vacated Danielle's conviction. It's over.
Moments of joy after Latasha Pyatt learned her fiancé, Daniel Smith, will get a new trial after serving 25 years in prison for a crime he says he did not commit.
We finally got the big win. The win that we've been waiting for, and which seems like forever.
In 2003, a Gwinnett County jury convicted Daniel of murdering his 2-month-old son, Chandler. The state's medical examiner ruled the boy's death a homicide caused by blunt force trauma. Prosecutors told the jury it was a shaken baby case.
Let this journey be over, God.
For years, the Southern Center for Human Rights, which represents Daniel, argued new science shows Chandler didn't die from shaking, but from biological issues after birth.
And it's not suggestive of abuse.
This week, Gwinnett County Superior Court Judge Kimberly Gallant ordered Danielle a new trial after reviewing testimony from 6 medical experts. Writing in her order, newly presented medical and scientific evidence provides a non-abusive explanation for Chandler's death. When you told Daniel the news, what was the first thing he said?
When the shock subsided, ironically, he's like, babe, let me call you back. And then when I talked to him, I was like, are you okay? He was like, babe, I almost fainted. He's like, I told the guys in here, and everybody was so happy for me, and they were crying. We were all crying. And he said, I thought I was going to pass out.
But my baby doesn't have a life.
Chandler's mother did not respond to interview requests following the judge's order, but has repeatedly told Atlanta News First that she still believes Danielle is guilty.
I mean, my baby was abused. He was murdered by Daniel Smith. And that's what it is, and that's why he's in jail. And I'm happy about it. And he needs to stay there.
He's like, you know the picture that you created? One half of me and one half of you. I was like...
Latasha and Danielle met 11 years ago, engaged about half that time. This is her wedding dress. She's the reason Danielle has a lawyer and has attended every one of his court hearings. But they've never known each other outside prison walls. The two met after Daniel's sister created an online profile for him on blackpeoplemeet.com and then messaged Latasha on his behalf. Most women, if they heard that story, would cut and run and say, nice chatting with you, good luck. You stuck around.
Yeah, I stuck around because...
For more than 10 years.
I heard his heart. I heard his heart. Got all his suits lined up.
For more than a decade, she's spent thousands preparing her home for his potential release, filling this closet full of new clothes, shoes, and cologne. She even bought him this convertible, all for Danielle, and yet he's never set foot inside her home. We've talked about this before. You know people's perception of what this looks like from the outside. What do you say to people that are still thinking, I can't believe she waited 10 years for this relationship, that she doesn't know whether it's going to work out or not when he gets out of prison.
Listen, we stand on the foundation of our faith with God. This ain't got nothing to do with Tasha. This has nothing to do with Danielle. This got everything to do with God's plan.
Powerful. And his fiance, the character that she brings to this, not only your reporting, this investigative reporting, but just somebody who knew that there was more to the story, and she never gave up. And here, getting him this attention, you're reporting several other reports across the country. You know, this is a story that has made national headlines. You know, when you found out that he finally got this new trial, what was your reaction?
So his attorney emailed me a copy of the order from the judge, and my response to his email was, OMG, send. And that was because we've gone down this road so many times where they have not had an opportunity to get to this space where a judge could actually ultimately make this ruling. I mean, this case has gone before the Georgia Supreme Court twice. They've had, I think this is their second or third attempt to try to compel a judge to look at the evidence, to look at the medical testimony, because they truly believed that the science had evolved or gotten to a place where they believed they could prove that Chandler didn't die from shaking, that it came from some sort of biological issue. And in this case, the judge agreed. She's not saying she believes he's innocent. She's just saying, based on the expert testimony that has been presented to the court, there is evidence to show that Chandler may not have died from abuse.
And that's the way the court system works, right? There can't be doubt. They have to know that it happened, or at least the jury has to feel that there's enough evidence that convicts this person. In this case, 6 different medical experts. Is that what it takes to get a new trial?
Well, an extraordinary motion for a new trial is a rare opportunity to get evidence in front of a judge to compel them. The bar is high. You really have to say, listen, this isn't just that we disagree on this opinion. You have to compel a judge to show them that this truly, this evidence was not presented at the new trial. It is new. It is not some sort of argument, that it is truly new evidence that if this was presented to a jury, they may have come up with a different outcome. And so they've been trying this for a while, and let me just tell you that the family feels like this is a big win, as you just heard in the story.
My goodness. And when you take me back to, some of the other previous reports and meeting some of his family and them praying at the courthouse in the beginning, trying to get a new trial, and they haven't given up, the amount of money you can imagine that goes into fighting these types of cases and trying to get a new trial. Is this a nonprofit behind the scenes that's helping?
Yeah, the Southern Center for Human Rights is a nonprofit civil rights organization. They have covered and taken on cases similar to Danielle's case. They've done bite mark evidence cases, which has been disproven, shown to be flawed, junk science, if you will. They believe this is another case. So when they took it on, Mark is the attorney that has represented Danielle for years now, sort of kind of knew this space and this type of evidence, knew that there was some opportunities to show that it was not, that there were issues with this type of evidence. And in his mind and Danielle's mind, they believe that it's true, and that it will, if this goes to trial, they'll be able to prove that he did not kill his son. Just some things to keep in mind, too, that we did reach out to the district attorney's office, requested an interview. They have declined. We reached out to Chandler's mother, Marcia, which we've interviewed in the past multiple times. She still believes that Daniel did, in fact, kill their son. And on September 1st, there is a status hearing scheduled. So the DA's office, Danielle's attorneys will come, and at this time, we may learn whether the DA's office plans to retry this case. They could retry it. It's going to be very difficult. The original medical examiner that said that shaking the child caused the death. From my understanding, because of the way that science has evolved, he can no longer say that for certain. So it'll be an uphill battle for this DA's office. But I will say I've spoken to the DA's office sort of like off the record in a moment where I was interviewing them about something completely unrelated. And one of their DAs believes that Danielle Smith is guilty. Now, whether they believe it or not is different than whether they can prove it. So we'll see at that status hearing whether they plan to move forward with the case.
Wow, I am hooked and ready to get into this trial. I know that you're going to follow it. Give us that update in September if the DA is even going to try it. Of course, we're following along on Atlanta News First, online, on air, and anywhere where we can follow Andy Parati. Thanks for tuning into Behind the Investigation with Atlanta News First Investigates. For more on this story, go to atlantanewsfirst.com and click on the ANF Investigates tab. You can listen to more award-winning investigations wherever you get your podcasts by searching Behind the Investigation with Atlanta News First. And tune in Sundays for an hour-long episode of Uncovered, where we highlight some of our biggest investigations that impact our communities.